Hi guys, so in this video we are going to discuss about the topic feminism or feminist literary theory in English literature. So when we speak about feminism, it is one of the broad and major areas in English literature. There won't be any writer who doesn't read anything about feminism. So we have many feminist writers in our literature area, especially considering from the nation of India. So when we turn back into the roots of feminism, we can say is that it began in the early 1700s and between the 90s 1900s. So the Mary Wollstonecraft is considered as a major developed person or the person who developed the theory of feminism with her writing the vindication of rights of women in 1792. So let's have a detailed and analytical study about feminism and feminist literary theory. So this is a note prepared by myself. It will be really helpful for you to listen and to look into this material while I discuss the topic and analyze the topic. Okay. So, feminist literary criticism in a form of literary criticism that is based on feminist theories in its broadly explained as the politics of feminism and uses feminist principle to critique the male dominator literature. So in the early days we know that it will be the males who created most of the literary works. So in the 1700s female began to feel kind of attraction towards literature. So they begin to write in pseudonyms and then they change their writing into their own names. So when we speak about this, patriarchy and male dominated society is one of the major reasons what created feminism. Feminism is not only means for the rights of women, it also deals with the rights of humans in our society, especially that females. We all know that females are subjugated in our society. That's why feminism was created. So the root cause of this type of criticism lies in the oppression of women in social, political, economic and psychological literature. So it says that feminism developed because of the oppression of women in every scenario such as society, political areas, economical structure and psychological literature. Even in literature, women are subjugated in the early days of our literature, and in the society we know the paying scale of women, and in the economical structure the men will be the person who sits in higher positions, not in our case, not in the case of in current world, but in the old sense we can say is that it will be the humans or the men's which sits in the higher ranks and the females will be the under their chair, so which we say the underdogs. Okay, and so this became a popular movement in the 20th century. Theories by feminists were introduced and developed gradually in the span of 3 centuries. So the feminist writing began in the 1700s, but feminism became popular and it got popularized in the 20th century. Okay, it is called 3 waves of feminism by many theories. When we study feminism, try to study it in the 3 waves. So in the first wave there will be some writers and their contributions, and the second wave there will be some terms like criticism and French feminism, and in the third will be it will be the different types of feminism like the Dalit and black and the lesbian feminism type of things. So now we are going to study about the first wave of feminism, which is the beginning of first wave in feminism. Okay, so as I said earlier, Mary Wollstonecraft's works A Vindication of Rights of Women in 1792 has great significance for the development of feminism. In this work, Wollstonecraft observed that the social norms are value low so cultural practices demanded and imposed particular forms of behavior for women. So we know that the society has created a norm. Several jobs has to be done by the females, and the some has to be done by the male, such as the female has to stay in their kitchen and look after the children. So everything that regarded as the feminism is beginning from the creation of Vindication of Rights of Women by Mary Wollstonecraft. Okay, she argues that women should be given education not domestically but socially. She argued for the educational rights of women, not domestically, not regionally, but socially. She will be a person who has the power to control the entire society. So she should be given the power to educate her socially. Okay. Wollstonecraft emphasizes social and communal benefits of educating women for better companions to their husbands and will be able to bring up their children in a better way. And Wollstonecraft told us that it will be better to educate a woman because she'll be able to communicate with their husband and she will be able to teach their children. As we all know, it will be the mothers who teaches their children after the father going for work. So the children began to goes to so the children began to goes to the school, and after it will be the mother who teaches him the first sentence and everything. So it will be better to have a better education for the woman so that they can teach their children for a better future. Moreover, education will help them to control their emotions. As the society says, women are weak in controlling their emotions. So it will be better to educate them so that they can control their emotions and feelings outburst in the society. Okay, so it is one of the terms or concepts that is told by Mary Wollstonecraft. Now we are moving to the first wave feminism's next writer, which is Virginia Woolf. So Virginia Woolf, in her highly influential work A Room of One's Own, Virginia Woolf studied the cultural, economical and educational disabilities within the patriarchal societies that prevent women from realizing their creative power. So in A Room of One's Own, it is a feminist writing. It is one of the major writings of Virginia Woolf. She has got many recognition for her work. So, in this work, she studied about the cultural, economical, and educational disabilities within the patriarchal society, how they are subjugated, how they are differentiated from the society, and the norms of patriarchy from the society. She argued that women and men should be given the equal rights, such as socially, politically, and economically. So, she tried to differentiate remove the differences between men and women in the society, in which he said that they should be considered as equal in the society. Okay, with the imaginary character Judith Shakespeare. Judith Shakespeare is one of the imaginary system of William Shakespeare. She is comparing the character of William Shakespeare with Judith Shakespeare, in which she says that if Shakespeare was a woman, she would not be getting such a what we say, such a attention to a woman. Shakespeare was a man, that's why he got such a fame and attention in the society. And Virginia Woolf argued that if Shakespeare was a woman, she would not be getting that kind of attention that Shakespeare received. Okay, she says that patriarchal educational system imposed them to internalize their views and utilize literary values created by men. Again, she argued that language is gendered. And one of the concept that is stressed by Virginia Woolf, that language is gender biased. Language is superior to the man, in which when men use a superior language and they use a weak language to express the emotions and feelings of women. In which we can say an example, in the older writings, women are considered as weak in their emotions and feelings. They will be considered as shallow in their writings. That's why Virginia Woolf says that women are subjugated and our language is itself gendered. Okay, hence, a woman author, as she does not have a language of her own, she is forced to use the sexist masculine language. She says that when she started writing in her own writing, she faced a challenge that she doesn't have a language to write in her own language, in which most of the tenses, most of the sentences were biased to the male society. That's why she said that language is gendered. Woolf also realized that the need for a woman to express her own conditions and experiences. It will be better to have some words to express our own feelings and emotions. So Virginia Woolf argued that writing is a task which should be done by the women to express their feelings and emotions. And she is one of the arguments that is popularized by her is that language is gender, in which most of the words, most of the sentences are subjugated to the women. So this is all about the first wave of feminism. Now we are moving to the second wave of feminism. So second wave for feminism is beginning with the work of Simone de Beauvoir with her work The Second Sex. In this work, she argues that throughout history, across cultures, woman has always occupied a secondary position. She is defined as other. So othering is a concept in which one is considered as superior and the second one is considered as a subjugatory one, or a like a sense that is secondary. We can take an example of the othering which is Edward has said. Okay, in second sex, Simon de Beauvoir says that woman is always considered as a second sex in the society. The male sex is firstly considered as a superior one in the society. They are also the superior ones and they have the supreme power in the society, even in the society, even the public spaces, even in the patriarchy. That's why she says that woman is secondary sex in society. So she has a duty of mother and taking care of her children and husband. She doesn't have any duties other than that. So that's why the Simon de Beauvoir says that she is biased and she is considered as a other in the society and the norms of patriarchy. Okay, man has been enabled to dominate and control his environment both in physical and intellectual conquest. So men began to dominate over the women both physically and mentally. Even with these two processes, they began to dominate or dance upon the rights of women. Whereas woman has remained imprisoned with remaining a slave within the circles of duties imposed by her maternal and reproductive functions. So she says that the woman had two duties: to look after the husband and the reproductive duties, in which she will be bearing a child in her womb by her husband. So her duty is to satisfy her husband and to take care of the home duties which she has when her husband comes home. Okay, and another work, which is by Kate Millett, Sexual Politics. She argues that man-woman relationships is deep-rooted in power structure within political implications. Even in our society, even in our sense of society, in our political implications, men's and women's power are what we can say. It is deep-rooted and and man has a superiority in even that too. Okay, thus she derived the term sexual politics. So in the society, it's a politics, and the politics is dominated by the man. According to Kate Middle, patriarchy was a political institution which depended upon subordinate roles of women, and that the Western social institutions are secret ways of manipulating power. So society won't be running without the functioning of a woman. She says that. So the society is a social politics. So which means it's a sexual politics. They always roots upon the men, but Kate Miller says that society won't be running without the help of a woman. So that's why she says that it's a sexual politics. We can take an example of that. The woman will be the person who looks after the family and everything. If there is no family, there won't be any society. So that's why she says that society is deeply connected with the roles of woman. Okay, Millet believed that women were subjected artificially constructed ideas of the feminine, and she began to feel that she is inferior in all aspects of society and culture. Millet finds that same sexual politics is used by male authors in portraying women in literary works. She praises the gender politics of homosexual writers. As we have said earlier, in the old times, men used characters of women as weak and fragile in their works. So she says that there is an always tendency to man in which they portray the woman characters as slaving, or we can say kind of secondary in their works. So she was also a person who supported homosexual writers. We can say that is lesbian, that kind of things. So this wave is also called gynocriticism. The second wave of feminism is also called as gynocriticism, and it involves three major aspects. So the first one is feminine phase, feminist phase, and female phase. It is coined by our well-known Elaine Showalter. Elaine Showalter coined these three phases of feminism, in which gynocriticism we have three phases. In gynocriticism, it is divided into three parts, and the first one is feminine phase. It is related to the beginning of writings of women. Okay, in the feminine phase, the behavior of women writers, in which they try to follow the rules made by male writers, in which they began to follow the rules of male writers in their own writing. They tried to avoid debating and questioning the place of women in the literature. Instead of debating their place in their literature, they began to write in the language of men in literary works. They also tried to write as a man, employing male pseudonyms in this place. We know that it was a period in which men manipulated or men dominated the literary works. So they used male pseudonyms to write literary works, in which women doesn't have the right to write in their own name. So they began to write in the name of male pseudonyms. Okay. that is the feminine phase. The feminist phase, in which female writers started criticizing the society as well as the literature, in which the literature is biased, in which literature using the language made by males. So they began to question the male dominator literature. The main theme of gender criticism in the works by female writers in the phase is focused on the oppression of women in the society. So they began to write about the oppression of, or the condition of, women in the patriarchal society, and the struggles and the pains they have faced in the society. So they began to use these kind of things to write their literary works. So that's about feminist phase. And now we have the female phase. This phase, women writers start thinking of view from just proving the woman's stand to their confidence in their work. They assume that whatever they have written is valid and no need of aggressive arguments and support to grow the authenticity of their work. In this phase, female phase, they began to write in their own name. So they, instead of criticizing the others, they began to write whatever they want, whatever they feel in their mind. They removes all kind of trauma or criticism that is arises from the society. They just simply avoided everything that they hear from the society. They simply began to write whatever they want in their writings. They never minded the society, they never minded the patriarchy and even their husbands. So this is also about the female phase. So these are the three phases that is coined by Ellen Showalter in gynocriticism. Okay, French feminists turned on post-structuralism. So French feminism was against the concept of post-structuralism. It is often characterized by a language that is allusive, poetic, and full of linguistic puns to question the patriarchal concept of language itself. So there is that the post-structuralism supported the male society. That's why the French feminists rejected the norms of post-structuralism. Helen Sixhouse introduced the concept of écriture féminine. So feminine writings in English is called écriture féminine. It's a French term in which we can say that female began to write in their own language. Okay, which has a source in its mother. So the writing belongs to the mother, in the mother which is a woman. As the child is in relation with its mother in the pre-Oedipal stage, it belongs to the Freud psychosexual analysis. Okay, language will be that of its mother. So like that, mother is closely connected with the language, in which its child learns the language from the mother, from which is in his tomb. Okay, in this way, Sixhouse determines the concept of male language loose. Irigaray also rejects a conventional male-oriented linear logic and reason by introducing a random, incoherent, discursive narrative. So she also says that the language is dominated by male society, in which most of the words are controlled by the males. Julia Kristeva too rejects completely the male domination by proposing a semiotics, which is study of science, okay, or language, pre-Oedipal or pre-linguistic space, or wholeness and unity. In short, they celebrated connecting their body to writing and creativity. Instead of following the male-dominated literature, they began to write their own writings. That's what told by Julia Kristeva and Helen Sixhouse. And Helen Sixhouse coined the term feminine writing, in which female began to write in their own language by their feelings and emotions. This is all about the second wave of feminism. Now we are moving to the third wave of feminism. The third wave of feminism began in the 1990s after the failure of the second wave of feminism. Okay, according to this school, the second wave emphasized the experience of middle class white women. So that's why it failed. It focused on the middle class white woman. Instead of focusing all women of the world, they focused on the white women in this world. It only support the white concepts of this world. The third wave sees women lives as intersectional, demonstrating how race, ethnicity, class, religion, gender, and nationality are all significant factors when discussing feminism. Feminism should be including all of this without any racial, sexual, gender discrimination. Women from all over the world should be considered for the concept of feminism. That's why they emerged the concept of third wave of feminism. So there are several types of feminism in third wave of feminism. It is the first one is Marxist feminism. These are the women who supported Marxism and the rise of women in the working class situation. Okay, so Marxist feminism can be traced back into the rights of working class women in the society, in which white woman is superior. They also rejected the white woman and the men who suppressed them in the working places. Okay, Next one is radical feminism. Radical feminism, so patriarchal oppression in all society are the reason for gender injustice in this world. So radical feminists stressed out the point that the struggles that they face from the patriarchy is the main reason for the struggles that they face in the society. Patriarchy is the reason in which women are still subjugated. So they against the concept of woman subjugation from the patriarchy. Okay, they demanded the revalue sex roles to reconsider reproductive process. So they argued that woman is not just for sexual pressure or reproductive system. They are also humans. They have also rights same as the men's. Okay, some of the radical feminists are Mary Daly, Carol Hanisch, Judith Brown, Kathy Sarsfield, Shulamit Firestone, and they are some of the radical feminists. You can simply write it down, or you can simply save it in your mind. So radical feminism was against the concept of patriarchy, in which they says that women are not only for reproduction and the duties they have to do in the houses, they are equal as the men in the society. And another one is lesbian feminism. So lesbian feminism emerged in the 1970s and 80s in the US from the specific viewpoint of homosexual lesbian feminism, homosexual woman. So it emerged among the homosexual women in America in the 1970s and 80s. Now it is all over spread over the world. We can see many lesbian people who are also feminists in our society. So lesbian feminism critically examines the role of women and particularly lesbians in heterosexual patriarchal society. So patriarchy has a norm in which a man belongs to a woman and a woman belongs to a man, in which the lesbian feminism against the concept in which they say that a woman can love a woman, and a man can love a man, in which we say that lesbianism and gay. Okay, they also supported this concept, and they also supported the lesbian women in our society, for the rights of lesbian women in our society. That is what called lesbian feminism. Okay, some of the lesbian feminists are Adrienne Rich, Charlotte Bunch, Rita Mae Brown, Sheila Jennings. Okay, they are some of the lesbian feminists. So they were against the concept of the society in which man and woman belongs to heterosexuality, in which they against this and coined the term homosexuality. Okay, and another wave of feminism is black feminism, which is emerged in the 1980s. Black feminism argues that sexism, class oppression, and racism are deeply together. These are the things which oppresses the black women all over the world. On the basis of race, gender, and their color, women are valued for their body and mind, in which black feminism emerged in the African American continents, in which they argued for the rights of black women all over the world. So it also began in the United States of America. Okay, one of the major key workers in this was Alice Walker. Okay, and Hill Collins, Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, Alice Walker are some of the critics of black feminism of school. So they argued for the suffrageous women in the black society and the black women in the society. For they argued for the rights and freedom of black women in our society. So another one is the last one is Dalit feminism. Dalit feminism is an Indian school of feminism. Dalits are a community in which we can see in the continent of Asia, especially in India. Okay, being inspired by the black feminists of America, the major Dalit woman writer began to discuss a double oppression experienced by the backward woman in India and upper class and Dalit male. So, after hearing about the black feminism, emergence of black feminism in USA, the Dalits in India or the Dalit women in India, they also began to protest for their rights from the upper class women and upper class men from their society in Indian society. They were also subjugated by the upper class society, men and women. So they began to argue for their freedom from all of these their struggles and pain. Okay. This school demanded for equality and inclusive space for in all levels of life. So until then, Dalits were banned from all over the society, even from the public spaces. So after coining this stage, Dalit women came into the force and came into the public and demanded for the equal rights in the society, same as the other women in the society in which belongs to the upper class society. Baby Kamble and Urmila Power, Meena Kandaswamy, Shivagami, Jairani are some of the Dalit feminists in India. Okay, so this is all about the feminism or the feminist literary theory. in which is a good topic to learn. It will be a vast topic to learn. So hope you all understood the video. If you like the video, like, share and comment under my video. Thank you.